When you have been part of a system for a long time, something about the system just kind of gives you away. There's just a way that a system gives you away. What's up, guys? I hope that you're doing amazing. Welcome back to the channel. And I have some TikTok gist for you guys today. So, like I mentioned earlier, it seems this lady wanted to mean well. Her name is, she calls herself Coach Elizabeth Pearson. But there's something wrong about these liberal white people, They'll want to say something and not want to use the race card, but something about it always just comes out, guys. Ish. It always comes out, man. Hey, man. So this lady is talking about Beyonce and Taylor Swift, and she's trying to say that Taylor Swift is being heard more, given more attention with her tours and everything, and she's getting more visual attention, she calls it, and etc. Whereas Beyonce has been doing a lot, but yet she's not heard like Taylor Swift. Like, Taylor Swift is making much more noise than Beyonce in the comparison, first of all. Anyway, and she says, I don't want to say it's something with race. I'm just putting it out there. It's like people are not talking about it, but it's just out there. Can we tell her what they're not telling her? Anyway, it's like she understood already that people are going to come for her. So, I mean, she had to be clever about what she said. But no matter how clever, something just seeps out. I'm going to roll up the video for you guys to watch. And later, you're going to see a part 2 video she remade, some sort of a reply to the first video after seeing that it was so much response and so many stitches. I'm going to mix in with another video about this video. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit. At the end of the video, we're going to have a discussion. We're going to discuss. So keep watching.
So is it just me, or is anybody else in the Beehive out there getting irked at all of the love Taylor Swift's tour is getting? Hear me out. I'm not anti-Taylor. I actually love Taylor. I think that her albums are incredible. I know a lot of the words. I'm not personally somebody who felt the need to go to her concert, but I get it, why people do, right? This is in no way a slam on Taylor. Love her. But in the media, it just feels like she's getting all of this credit for like saving our economy with her $2 billion worth of sales and things like that. And I just don't see Beyonce getting the love. And I'm sorry, but the Renaissance tour is actually expected to gross about $500 million more than Taylor's. So I have to ask myself, why is Beyonce not getting lumped in and getting the same amount of credit, or at least visual credit, that I see Taylor Swift getting? And I don't want to make it a race thing, but I think we have to ask ourselves, is this something that could be at play here? Like, why is she getting so much love and we're just not hearing the same amount of credit or accolades given to Beyonce? Now, hear me out. Again, I want to preface this with, I love Taylor Swift, and this isn't about tearing Taylor down or getting into it with any of her fans. Love her. This is about the narrative of women. And I do believe that it's between Barbie, Renaissance, and the Eras Tour. Women are the ones saving the economy right now and totally revitalizing it. But at the same time, I feel like Beyonce is not getting nearly as much credit as Barbie or Taylor. So I have to ask myself why. Because if you've been to any Beyonce show, or you watched her Netflix documentary on Homecoming or anything, you see that this woman pours excellence and blood, sweat, and tears into everything she does. And I have to ask myself, why does everything have to be so over the top and so perfect? Is it because she feels societal pressure as a Black woman to overcompensate and be perfect because she might be held to a different standard than, say, a white performer? So I don't know, maybe I'm crazy here, but I'm starting to get really gassed up at like, why isn't she getting the credit that is due here? And again, Taylor's great, so don't come for me, Taylor fans. But like, I think we need to start giving Beyonce a little bit more love. And media out there, like, give this woman her dues. She's the greatest performer of all time. I will go on record saying that. And I just want to see her getting a little bit of the accolades and the love for actually saving this economy. And I don't want to make it a race thing, but I think we have to ask ourselves.
So I just saw this video and I was really frustrated by it because I think that it demonstrates exactly what's wrong with a lot of white liberals. So this woman gives all these different points about how she's a big Beyonce fan and shares her thoughts and confusion as to why Taylor Swift's tour has been getting far more praise, far more appreciation than Beyonce's Renaissance tour. And so she says, well, people have been speaking about how Taylor Swift's tour is slated to make X amount of money, how great it's been for the economy, but Beyonce's tour is actually slated to make more. And she gives all these different points as to like, not knocks on Taylor Swift, but just like, why isn't Beyonce getting the same type of love? But then she goes on to say, I don't want to make it a race thing. But all the points that she outlines, right, where Beyonce should be getting the same amount of love, leads to, well, if it's not a race thing, then what is it? And again, I think that this is the exact issue with a lot of white liberals, is that as much as people want to support Black and brown folks, as much as people think that they're aligned, they just oftentimes can't come to terms with the fact that just about everything is literally a race thing. And the admission that white privilege exists and that you benefit from it, even the person who's this Beyonce fan in this video, you benefit from white privilege. So it's so difficult for you to call out Taylor Swift's white privilege or the disparities in how they're being treated because of whiteness, because I think that consciously or subconsciously, if you do that, if this creator says, oh, it's a race thing, then what does that say about the things throughout your own life that have also probably been race things?
That I see Taylor Swift getting. And I don't want to make it a race thing.
But it is. And the real problem is being too hesitant to call a spade a spade. When you literally see it, you see it. Say it with your chest. Beyonce does not get the credit that she deserves. And Taylor Swift gets more credit than she deserves because of race. Period. And y'all are hesitant to acknowledge that because then you would have to get into white mediocrity. The piece of white privilege that allows y'all to do the most mediocre things and then still achieve the heights of the heights, like being compared to Michael Jackson when your career isn't even comparable to Janet Jackson. What? Also, I peeped how you had no problem making Beyonce's experience as an artist about race. She strives for perfection because of how hard society is against Black women. Not because she's perfect 10s, in fact. But we're timid to say that Taylor gets more credit than Beyonce simply because of race. Y'all be telling on yourselves.
Why is Beyonce not getting lumped in and getting the same amount of credit, or at least visual?
I've been holding this shit in for a long time, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. I feel like it's a race thing because I just feel like Beyonce, she's creating such a surreal experience in pop culture with Renaissance, and I've never seen shit like this before. And both the Renaissance and Eras tours they're behemoths. They are gigantic phenomenons. But comparing Taylor Swift to Beyonce is just, no matter what number you put on it, no matter how many tours Taylor Swift does, no matter how much she grosses, she's not going to deliver the experience that Beyonce has delivered and will deliver. Even comparing Taylor Swift to Michael Jackson or the Beatles, like, girl, if people are having a hard time comparing Beyonce to Michael Jackson, they're definitely not going to compare Taylor to Michael Jackson. But it just perturbs me because they're quicker to give Taylor, her flowers in this regard than Beyonce, when Beyonce is more than deserving to be compared alongside Michael Jackson. And I don't know, I do feel like the white privilege is privileging really bad, especially now when it comes to, the Eras tour and everything. But regardless, I don't know, it's just a whole thing.
So is it just me, or is anybody else in the Beehive out there getting irked at?
Not only do I think that Beyonce and Taylor Swift cater to different audiences, I think that, and this is a big theory that I have, I think when white people feel excluded out of something, they downgrade it. They diminish it. They diminish the success. They diminish the person. It reminds me a lot of when Simone Biles announced that she was going to take a mental health break. People immediately were running to be like, oh, well, you weren't even good to begin with, because for once, a Black person was taking care of themselves, and specifically a Black woman was taking care of herself, and a Black person had the audacity to not think about white people, white spectators, white fans. It definitely, it's giving, if we cater to our people, if we make music for our people, if we make songs in a genre that has a huge history of Black joy, queer joy, and both of those simultaneously at the same time, they don't want to hear us. They don't want to hear what we have to say. They want to downplay our success. They want to downplay us as people. You know, the whole thing about, well, I didn't vote for Beyonce because she has a strong fan base and she's way too popular. Okay, and Taylor Swift and Harry Styles aren't, especially Taylor Swift. Like, what the fuck? Like, she has won Grammy after Grammy. She has won numerous Album of the Year awards. Is she not too popular? Like, what? Like, how come she's not too popular for that? Have you seen her fan base? So that's kind of my theory. And I also do believe that Harry Styles and Taylor Swift make easily digestible pop. And that's not downplaying pop. I love pop. It's one of my favorite genres. But it's more so that, like, their kind of pop is very easy to listen to and understand the story. And when Black people make music, specifically with genres and with words and stories that have long been a signifier in our community, them people are not interested in hearing it. I mean, think about the award show when Taylor won Album of the Year over Kendrick Lamar. That album is one of the best albums I've listened to. I think that these people have proven for years that they don't care. And that if we're not digestible in their minds, we're not worthy.
So this incoming one is a little short moment of sarcasm about visual credit.
Getting the same amount of credit, or at least visual credit, that I see Taylor Swift getting. So is it just me, or is anybody else in the Beehive out there getting irked at...
This time, I'm not even going to tell you to go watch that video, because she means well. She means well. You know, she means well. But white women do this thing where they point out things that Black women have been saying for decades. And when I say decades, I mean decades. And act like it's something new and fresh that, like, they just came up with. Duh. Like, she's talking about how Beyonce's tour is not getting as much press and media as Taylor Swift's tour. And she goes into this, like, speech about how she thinks Beyonce, like, has to work so much harder, and is it because she's a Black woman and, like, her talents are never recognized as much, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yes, we've been telling you that. You've been told that. Like, white women don't listen. And then when they say something, it's like, epiphany light bulb. I am the smartest person ever. Oh my God, look what I just did. I came up with this. I can't believe I just realized this issue in race. Oh my God. Bitch. No. Like, we know. This is obvious. This is like textbook. Like, I don't really understand why white women do this. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating.
So this is a different opinion that I was trying to tell you that I'm gonna put in, you guys. She comes in with a different thing, saying that there's things that Taylor Swift is doing that Beyonce wasn't doing, and together with Taylor Swift's management that's leaving Taylor Swift in people's head even after everything is done. So listen to this.
So is it just me, or is anybody else in the Beehive out there getting irked at...
Aside from the obvious fact that Taylor is a blonde white woman and Beyonce is not, I think that Taylor's team and her marketing and her, I'm sure she was part of it, have done two really incredible things that have kept this media machine pumping. First, every time she plays, there's a surprise element. Something is different about that show that keeps her fans glued, just like absolutely unhingedly glued to every performance to see what that surprise element is going to be that night. Not only because it's fun to see, but because it impacts the show that they will be at. Not to mention the thousands of clues and Easter eggs that she leaves about other surprises and things that are happening in every aspect of her career. And two, she is releasing an insane amount of music from the time her tour started till even predictions that more music is going to keep coming, which means we are staying engaged.
And this is the reply that I promised you guys.
Okay, so the Beyonce video I did evidently resonated and struck a chord with some people. And it feels great, number one, because it sucks that it's very clearly a race thing. Beyonce is not getting the same accolades and media support that I see and a lot of other people see Taylor Swift getting. Again, this is not pitting women against each other. This is not the Beehive versus the Swifties or any like that. But it really is like, why isn't there enough sun to shine on everybody? Why does, because Taylor's getting so much love, it feels like there's scarcity to give Beyonce her flowers, her props? She's not getting any. And so that's the point of the video, is like, what are we doing to women here? We're marginalizing some and we're propping up others, maybe even like gushing a little too hard over the contributions of some, and we're marginalizing or downplaying the contributions of Black women and turning a blind eye to the unfair set of standards that exist for Black women versus white women. So that's really the larger context of this. It isn't about getting everybody all pissed off and feeling like they got to go to their side on who's better, Taylor or Beyonce. I mean, I think you know how I feel. But at the end of the day, this is really like a systemic problem here, right? That we all see. And you can tell in the comments, people feel this way. You can't tell people that they don't feel overlooked when they're living it. So that was the point of the video. And I just wanted to provide like a little bit more context behind it.
Yeah, so guys, so the thing that you have seen that others were saying she didn't want to go by the race card and everything. She's finally agreed that it's about race, and I don't know if it's because her comment section got so ugly. Now she definitely had to pick a side, as you have seen in the video. So this marginalization is not new. Someone in the comment section said Beyonce isn't as palatable to white people because she's unapologetically black, sexy, and her whole tour is a queer celebration. 1000% it's about race. It's about race. Yep, and yep. Another one commented, and then somebody's just clapping out there, like, there we have it. Yes, now you finally speak the truth. So comment below in the comment section what you feel about all this, and the comparison for me isn't doing it. We just can't. I'm saying we just cannot. Okay, so thank you so much guys for watching. I'll be waiting for you in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.